Japan decided on August 24th, began dumping 1.3 million tons of contaminated nuclear water into the ocean. Our worst fears have come true, after the Japanese government held a meeting on the 22nd, announced the release of contaminated water from the Fukushima Daiichi power station into the sea. 21st, said Fumio Kishida, Japan's prime minister. Fukushima nuclear accident treatment water discharge schedule has entered the final stage of adjustment. Japan's problem with the release of nuclear contaminated water to haunt Japanese society for more than a decade. Always a problem. Now Japan finally has a way. According to Japan's Kyodo news agency, conducted a national telephone poll on August 19th to 20 against Tokyo Electric Power Company. The ceremony for the discharge of contaminated water from the Fukushima nuclear power plant was as much as 88.1%. The Japanese people are worried. This will cause Japan's image to suffer greatly or to some extent. Don't you think it's a little redundant to worry about that? The power of nuclear wastewater is more or less well understood. Nuclear wastewater contains a large number of radioactive elements. Tritium is the most abundant. Then there's carbon-14, cobalt-60, and strontium-90. The degradation time of these three elements is longer, and it is easily absorbed by marine life in the sediment that enters the ocean, causing infection in the food chain. These conoids are potentially toxic to humans. So once the nuclear wastewater is discharged into the ocean, what impact will it have on our lives? 1. It is easy to cause fetal deformity. The development of the fetus is particularly vulnerable to the influence of the external environment. For example, we know that pregnant people are not allowed to receive X-rays and other radiation. The reason is the fear that radiation is causing fetal abnormalities. Also, many drugs are banned for pregnant women. The same is true. The fetus in the process of development. Each of these factors may produce unexpected results. For the fetus, if a cell is affected by radiation, then it will reproduce its offspring, pass it on. How serious the consequences are. Too easily lead to cancer. October 20th, 2015. The Japanese government acknowledged it for the first time at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. It caused leukemia in one of the workers who worked at the site. It was caused by exposure to nuclear radiation. The World Health Organization has conducted research on food contamination and thyroid cancer. The subject of the study was the Chernobyl accident in April 1986. After the event, radioactive spots fell over Belarus, Russia, and Ukraine, contaminating the pasture that cows eat. Thereafter, researchers inside the thyroid glands of children who drank contaminated milk. High-dose radioactive spot found. The year 2006, the United Nations has reported 15 deaths from thyroid cancer in children, attributed to the Chernobyl nuclear accident. 3. Is the seafood still ready to eat? Once that happens, we only have one ocean. First, Japan's Pacific coast will be heavily polluted, spread across the globe under the movement of ocean currents. Within 57 days from the date of discharge of nuclear sewage, radioactive material spread across half of the Pacific Ocean and spread globally a decade later. There's no way to dilute a radioactive water source. Can only be diluted a little bit by the ocean. The cost of the dilution of the ocean is the life that lives in it. Not even humans on land are safe from radiation contamination. Toxins accumulate in marine organisms. This directly affects their viability and fertility. Since Japan says it's okay to drink, then why don't you keep it? I don't know why they're dumping it in the ocean.